日本時間5月26日、ドジャースの大谷翔平選手は、敵地で行われたメッツ戦の前に、23年の右肘手術後、初めてのライブ BP、実戦形式の打撃練習に登板しました。この日は、キム選手やラッシング選手など、打者5人に対し、22球を投げ、1安打、2奪三振、1四球と上々の投球。このライブ BP には、メッツのメンドーサ監督も視察に訪れ、インタビューでは少し照れながらも嬉しそうにその様子について語りました。
Going back to Ohtani for a minute, so you watched him on the field today a bit?
I watched him throw live BP today.
Do you typically watch other opposing players throw live BP, or is that kind of the fan in you?
Yeah, he's Shohei Ohtani. You know, we get an opportunity to watch him. Hopefully. I get to watch him in real games. That means we're playing against them in October, So, because we'll play them, in 10 days or so, next week in LA. Hopefully if we get to face him, that'll be a good thing for us.
また、大谷選手のライブ BP 後に、ロバーツ監督は、良かったですよ。見ていて楽しかったです。本人も楽しんでいたと思います。それなりに収穫もあったと思います。と笑顔で語りました。さらに大谷選手は試合後のインタビューに、自分が投手だったことを思い出しましたと冗談交じりに語る場面も。ここからはその様子を見ていきます。
We got a really good look at him today because he threw to hitters for the first time since surgery.
He looked mid-season form to me. I mean, he was mid-90s with his fastball. The attention for a guy throwing a side session at 2:30 in the afternoon was remarkable. All the stuff was there. He threw all of his pitches, splitters, sinkers. Certainly, Shohei Ohtani draws a crowd.
I'll tell you this, though. We were sitting back there, and he was like a cat on the mound. I was like, wait a second. He could be playing shortstop along with Mookie Betts as well. But the action was there, and talking to the players, they're like, we cannot wait to see him on the mound.
So maybe it's a case of no joy in Mudville, and as you can see on his face, plenty of joy right now in Dodgerville.
Live BP in the history of baseball.
Maybe.
What were your impressions?
It was good. It was fun to watch. I think he was having fun with it. I think we got something out of it. 22 pitches, touched 97, threw some sweepers, some cutters, two-seam, four-seam, and so I thought it was a good first step.
Does it feel more real, like seeing him in the uniform on a big league mound? Obviously, not real game, but like sort of seeing something similar to that.
It does. I've gotten so used to seeing him as a hitter, and so to see him on the mound just solely as a pitcher, it was different and certainly exciting for all of us.
Does it tell you anything, just like how much fun he seemed to be having and how lighthearted he could be even while going through his work?
It did. I think that he was certainly working and progressing, but I think he was certainly having fun with it, and obviously there was a lot of attention to it. A lot of his teammates are here watching and supporting too.
How much will kind of like the next couple of days, just seeing how he feels coming out of it, kind of help guide what might come next?
That's going to be the driver. Obviously we can all speculate that there's going to be another live next weekend, but that's all contingent on how he feels in the ensuing days. And obviously Wednesday seems like the logical day for him to throw a touch and feel, like to stick with his routine. But yeah, I think once we keep kind of getting to the next day, we'll figure out where we're at.
Now that he's actually in the swing of the games, do you guys kind of monitor more day to day, like how he's feeling physically when it comes to the hitting aspect?
Yeah, because I think that's for sure. Because there was certainly, with the velocity today, the amount of pitches, there was more intensity. So I'll be mindful. We'll all be mindful of how that affects tonight's game too.
Are you surprised at how good the stuff looked and how the velocity has continued to tick up?
It was a big jump today, from what I understand, from the bullpens to here facing hitters. Not surprised though, because the competitor still comes out. You still want to get guys out, and so to see him touch 94, 97 wasn't overly surprising.
Does that give you just kind of like some optimism about how the stuff's going to play, even coming off of a second TJ as he keeps building up these next couple months?
It does. Yeah, if it kind of works out as it should, he's a top-end starter. And so that's kind of, all of our expectations.
Did JT volunteer to do that, or did he get kind of
so
roped in as a
he didn't want to
bat?
face any of our right-handed hitters. So him and JT have a very good relationship. So he offered to go and stand in, and Shohei was more than happy to oblige. So from what I saw, he got a punch and a walk. So I got JT with the win.
and a bat flip after the walk.
And a bat flip after the walk, that's right.
The closer Shohei gets to, coming back as a pitcher, can you kind of see another side of him and learn about, like, Shohei, the two-way player, the way you might not have been?
I think so. I think it's probably what I would already assume as far as the preparation, the compete, but you're going to see it because of the volume that's going to be happening, along with playing DHing every night for us. So that's something where it's certainly been tempered early, but now when you start to ramp up facing hitters and doing back-to-backs and upping the innings, that takes a lot more mindful bandwidth and also physical exertion. So that's going to be interesting to see how he handles all this.
Did you have a conversation with him after that? And if so,
Nope, no conversation. I just kind of, because right after he was done, he just went to the training room and started to kind of take care of that to then now get ready for tonight's game.
So he's still DHing tonight?
He's still DHing tonight.
Awkward swings. And, again, my evaluation, anytime I like live BPs, it's more about like how's it playing, is he maintaining his stuff, and I think he got the awkward swings that you would want to see. You don't expect perfection the first time out, but I thought overall, again, it was a really good live BP. He was like 4 to 5, touched 6 and 7, and kind of backed it down. So he was kind of trying to hover, right around mid-90s. He got a couple he let loose. Cutter was in a good spot. His split was right around 88. So it was a good. Like I said, the stuff's there. So he's going to DH tonight, and we're going to go from there. And then he's going to play tomorrow. He's going to DH tomorrow, and we'll go from there. Again, I know we've been saying it. We sound like a broken record, but I think Friday night just kind of reiterates the point that like every day is different. And he's playing in the games every day, DHing, leading off. So when we get situations like Friday, we have to react to what his body is telling us, and so we pushed it today. So we'll see where he comes out of it tomorrow, because this is obviously going to be a new stress. He's going to play tonight. We're going to travel late, so we'll just kind of see where he's at over the next couple of days. And that's kind of what we've been doing these last 3 to 4 months as we've been playing, and we'll continue to do. We have to be able to react and be nimble with his workload on both sides of the baseball. He's having fun. I think he enjoys. He's a baseball player. He enjoys playing the game. He wants to be out there. Obviously, he does it every day on the hitting side, but he's looking forward to pitching. And again, I think today was great because he was able to keep the mood light, but able to maintain some real stuff. And I think that's always important. He didn't look like he was having stress or be under stress and amp up and try to generate any of his power. He was loose and it was all free and easy, so that's always positive.
How much have you gotten a chance to talk to him just about how he sort of thinks about pitching in the last couple of years, and how much more real I feel with what you're seeing when you're now facing something?
Yeah, over the last, I'd say probably the last month or so, it's probably gotten a little bit more into pitching, than it has been in the past. Last year was just about, kind of going through the rehab process, so we didn't really dive into that stuff. But now, we're talking, he's talking with myself and with Connor, just about pitch movements, about pitch locations, setups, more strategy type things. We're trying to get an idea of how he wants to do things, and we're still learning him because, like anybody, we need to see kind of what he's comfortable with and how he wants to use his stuff. stuff, and so those conversations are happening a little bit more when he's on the mound. Again, it's his time, his bandwidth is pulled in different directions, so we try to respect both sides of it.
We've called him the unicorn for a lot of reasons, but are there things about him that might help him return from a second Tommy John better than most pitchers do? Or?
I mean, I don't even know how I would answer that question. So much of injuries and rehab is very individual to that person, and kind of what they do, how they heal, how they approach things. He's special because he can play two. He can do both. I mean, you don't see a lot of guys who are two-way guys outside of college, and so that's what makes him extremely special. But the one thing I think everybody's gotten accustomed to is to count him out on anything, because the moment you think like this might not work, or that's not going to do it, or whatever, it's things that are incredibly special. We saw that, lived that last year. So, again, he has taken a very methodical approach to this. We've tried to take a very methodical approach to this, understanding the uniqueness of the situation. And I will never, and I don't think anybody in that room would ever doubt what he can do. But we'll see where it comes out at the end of this year. Probably the nastiest pitches to him, so it was very unfair. It was already unfair, and it made it compounded that, made it even more unfair. But I'll give JT a lot of credit. He got a lot of respect for getting in the box and taking his shot. He got a good walk there.
Yeah, I think it takes a special worker, a special guy like that to be able to do that. And he looked good today, and I think it's a good stepping stone for him, just moving forward.
Thank you.
How would you evaluate your pitching today, and how good did it feel to go out back on the mound?
今日のライブ BP 自分で評価してみて、今日の感覚はどうでしたか？ステップを踏めたっていう点ではすごく良かったし、内容も納得できる内容だったのかなと思うので、次のライブ BP に調整したいなと思います。Just really felt good overall. Just looking at the overall execution, it was a really good first step, and looking forward to the next one.
Are you surprised that your stuff is kind of playing up to where it was today, from the velo to just the movement you're able to generate?
球速から動きとか、結構いい感じだと聞きましたけども、それに対してびっくりしています。そうです。バッターが立てば上がるのは分かってはいましたけど、あまり上げすぎない1回目のライブなので、あまりなるべく96、7は投げないようにしましたけど。最後の方は出てはいたので、いいところもあり、もう少し抑えながらいけばいいのかなと思います。I am aware that I do throw a little harder when there's a hitter in the box. I try to keep it 93-4, but I know I was touching 6s and 7s, which I wanted to not do. But it's a good sign that I could hit that.
Were you having fun? It looked like you were having fun.
そうですね。ちょっと最近あんまり投げてなかったので、また自分がピッチャーをやっているというのを若干思い出した感じはあるので、じゃないかなと思います。I haven't thrown in a while, so it was nice to be able to feel like I was a pitcher, and I just kind of remembered those days when I used to have a lot of good memories as a pitcher.
Now that you're having the intensity of facing hitters, how do you expect to sort of balance that part of your rehab along with also still playing every day and being in the lineup? すぐに打席に立っている中、バランスを取っています。基本的には週1で投げれればいいかなと思っているので、遠征の兼ね合いがあったりとか、ホームの時はバッターも実戦に近いマイナーリーグの選手が来てくれたりとかすると思いますが、なかなか今日みたいに遠征先だとそういうわけにはいかないので、そういうところの難しさもあるかなと思います。I'm going to do live BP once a week moving forward. On the road, I'm sure it's going to be a little bit difficult to get quality hitters to stand in at times, but at home, I should be able to get good minor league hitters to stand in.
Do you think you're going to need a minor league rehab start, or do you think the lives and the sim games will kind of suffice over the next couple months?
ライブ BP で十分なのかな。そうです。前の
時もライブ VP で調整をしてきてはいたので、実戦だからといって実際のゲームだからといってシミュレーションとすごく変わるかといったらそんなに変わらないかなと思っているので、今の形式で球数、強度がしっかり保てるのであれば十分なんじゃないかなと思います。
I feel pretty confident with this way of going about rehabbing. I've done this before previously, and so as long as I'm getting the pitch count and the intensity in, I feel pretty good that I'll be well prepared.
I think your pitching work. Do you think your pitching work?
Last two games offensively for the team have been a bit of a struggle. How difficult would Peterson and Senga?
西はあまり打ってないですけども、ピーターソンの千賀の印象、2人の印象、2人もちょっと対極のピッチャーではあると思うので、2人が一緒ということはないんですけど、全体的にその素晴らしい投手陣だと思うので、今日も満塁もありましたし、惜しいといえば惜しいのかなと思うので、もう少し丁寧に、昨日も3つ僕は三振しているので、もう少し丁寧にどうにかなる打席もあったんじゃないかなと思うので、そこは反省点かなと思います。
Just two different types of pitchers, so hard to say what's the commonality. But for me personally, bases loaded, I couldn't really take advantage of yesterday. 3 strikeouts. If I had, a better quality overall, then things could have been a little different.
Thanks.
いかがでしたでしょうか。このチャンネルでは日本人メジャーリーガーなどを中心に野球情報をお届けしています。この動画が良かったら高評価、チャンネル登録をよろしくお願いいたします。今回も最後までご覧いただきありがとうございました。それではまた次の動画でお会いしましょう。